listened to a bunch of the stuff today. I got a bunch of notes we can go through. So if you're ready, we'll kick this thing off.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Thanks
All
for
right.
listening to my music. You didn't even have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I do my best, man, because there's always stuff coming out. Like I know so many musicians, and it's easy for stuff to get lost in the mix. So,
Yeah. hmm
but I'm glad to see you've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, man.
So,
I try to keep myself busy with music.
so yeah. So to get started, basically, tell me a little bit about yourselves. Like, you guys, you said you play in the same band. So how long has that been going on?
Yeah, so him and I have kind of been attached at the hip for like, I guess a little over a year now.
Probably.
Yeah. He's a really good bass player. When you find good bass players, you try to keep them around. Will, I know you know what that is. So,
Yeah.
um, my music background, I mean, I started playing music when I was like 12 or 13. My uncle got me my first guitar and just started playing like anybody else, getting really passionate about it. And then I made a bunch of bands and made a bunch of music. And the cool thing about music is it like you can just do it forever. You know, I've been doing it since I was 12. I'm 30 years old now, and I still get the same joy out of it from when I was 12. So that's why I keep doing it, and I'm really passionate about doing it full time. You know,
Same. I got started a little bit later. I was kind of in my senior year of high school, but once I was in it, man, I was in it. Um,
dude, we're gonna talk about it a bunch, but your voice is gnarly. I watching you play was awesome.
Thanks, man.
Really,
I
really
feel the
fun.
same way listening to your recordings. I mean, obviously, I thought you guys were great at Mooresburgers, but it was cool hearing like the different projects, how you bring like different, like a different style of singing. You've got a lot of range. You sound good singing clean. You got like a nice edge to you when you want to get, real dirty with stuff. So, I was definitely very impressed by all the stuff I heard.
Yeah, thanks, dude. That means a lot
So,
coming from you.
thank you. Um, So, what would you say were like some of the first like records you had, albums growing up that really inspired you to get started in music? And
Um,
both of you feel free to answer since you're both here. Like if stuff comes
Yeah.
to mind, feel
Yeah.
free to jump
I
in
mean,
there.
when I was really getting into music at first, it was a lot of like the Beatles. That was like the first thing that kind of gravitated me towards music. My grandparents were big Beatles and Elvis fans, so that was always on, and um, I was just really fascinated with how like a hook in like a chorus could like just draw people to songs and just make them listen to it over and over and over and over again. And I've always wanted to like try to find that. But those were like the first two bands, or I guess
Yeah.
Elvis isn't really a band, but the first two artists that like really got me into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think I remember when I first really started getting into music, for me, it was Red Hot Chili Peppers. I got really into the Red Hot Chili Peppers when I was like, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10. And that's what made me like, once you get to a certain age, you start becoming a little bit more conscious of the music you're listening to, and you start going in different directions. And then from there, it just kind of branched out.
That's cool. I could see how listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers could lead to you wanted to pick up a bass.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I actually started on guitar, but I ended up picking up bass when I started my first real band in like the end of high school, and then it's just kind of been bass since then.
Nice. So, what were some of the bands like you played in, like maybe kind of early on getting started, like, what kind of stuff did you guys do?
When I was in, I didn't start like joining bands and stuff until high school. And when I was in high school, I was really into like metal music.
Yeah,
So
like post hardcore, that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah. So my first couple bands were like metalcore bands, if you're familiar with the genre at all, Will. Um, and they were fucking terrible because that music's really hard to do when you're a kid and you don't know what you're doing. Um, but it was fun. But yeah, my first couple bands were all metal
Yeah,
bands.
yeah.
Yeah,
My first real band. Well, I was in a kind of the same sort of style, like post hardcore, metalcore type band in high school, but then the first one, like serious one I had where we actually started playing gigs was a ska band from I think my senior year of high school called Joint Operation, And then since then, I've been in
Okay.
like 15 million other bands, but you know,
Joint
keep it
Operation.
around.
Haven't they been around for like a minute?
Yeah,
Joint
yeah, they
Operation.
still do stuff. I'm just not playing with them anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah. I'm always curious because sometimes when people talk about old bands they were in, you realize that you had actually played a show together at one point. Didn't even realize you had
Yeah.
crossed paths, but that's pretty cool. So you've got kind of three projects going on right now. You got No Promises, you've got Silverset, and then I guess you kind of got like the Nick Newberry solo stuff. Which one of those things sort of came about first?
Um, I mean, I mean, if you Nick Newberry stuff, I guess, because I've been doing that since I started. You know, like anything else. But in order of like making music more professional sounding, definitely No Promises. We've been doing uh, the drummer Jimmy and I. We started the band in 2019. We're actually in the army together, um, and we started the band in about 2019ish, and just kind of took it up to about I don't know, I'd say 2022, 2023, when he got a different opportunity to work in the fire department. So he had to move and we had to take a little hiatus. That's how Silverset came to be, because I needed something to do. So I started another band. And that kind of became like a cover band. You've seen us play. We played a lot of covers, but that band's taking a little break right now. But
Yeah.
that's where I met this
Yeah,
guy.
that's how we linked up.
Let's talk a little bit about the Silverset music first. So I was listening to In Your Head and Delusion, which kind of were like a little bit more like punk, like kind of in your face kind of music. That's where I was kind of got to hear a little bit more of the edginess in your voice.
Yeah,
And then they got Morning After, which was kind of an instrumental, which I always appreciate a good instrumental. And then the one that I liked the most was called Lucidity, which is
yeah,
kind of had like I guess like a little bit of like a post rock kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Where
We
did you
always joked that.
guys? Yeah, where did you guys record that stuff?
I record 99% of my stuff with Toby Valmus at Bloomhouse Audio.
Yeah.
And I plug him every chance I get. He's a great dude. He won't gouge you for a price. And I mean, the product that he puts out is
Yeah.
awesome.
It's a real chill vibe up in the studio. We recorded the entire Silverset EP up there in like a weekend.
Nice, cool. All right, so I was listening to No Promises, which kind of had I want to say like a little more of a chill vibe. I listened to Pain We Embrace, which kind of gave me like a little bit of Incubus, kind of just I don't want to say experimental, but like it was just there was a lot more interesting like guitar work and you have a song called Self Absorbed that has a sick drum intro and
Yeah.
just like I was really into like the variety of songs you guys had.
Yeah. So that project, uh, where Silverset, that album that you listened to was a very conceptual album about me and my emotions and what I was dealing with at the time with my divorce. No Promises, the drummer Jimmy and I, we kind of co-wrote almost every song. So he's got a very unique music sense to him where he can write lyrics like incredibly well for a drummer, and also he has like great guitar ideas too. Him and I just kind of work really well together. So that's you hear a little bit of both of our influences there. Like I'm more like grunge and like alt rock, and then he's more of like the pop punk and the punk rock and like Blink 182 and stuff like that. And that's where
Yeah.
him and I like really connect, you know. And that's where you're getting all those sounds.
Nice. Yeah, I was like I could hear influences. There was a song called Down Below that had like some really kind of melancholy sounding chords in it. But like
Yeah,
once it gets going, it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Alice in Chains, just kind of with the energy and the vocal style that's going on.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, like I listened to a good chunk of songs and yeah, I was very impressed.
I appreciate you doing that, man. It means a lot. You're a good guy, good
So
musician
the
too.
solo stuff, is that just kind of like a side project thing you're doing? Are you trying to put together a band for that?
I go back and forth with it, man. It's when I make a song that I don't think really fits like either genre of band. and I just need to put it somewhere. So I'm like, I'll just make it an original thing right now. And like I have contemplated making a little band and like playing live because that can be fun too, but not like very seriously right now. So I'd say it's like a side project.
Okay. When you're recording the solo stuff, how much do you do yourself and how much do you bring other people in to record?
Oh, the solo stuff is more of like a collaborative opportunity for me to like really get to work with like awesome people that I wouldn't normally get to work with. And I mean, he's the only bass player I know, but he's also the best bass player I know. So it just works out that he just tags along for all the projects. But I've gotten to work with like really cool people doing it. So it's never just me.
Okay,
You know?
cool. Yeah. I mean, that's basically how I see it. A lot of times I'll have an idea and I'll go, I know who I want to put on this song, and I'll reach out to different guitar players and drummers and stuff. But that's definitely one of the fun things about it.
Yeah, dude, it's fun to collaborate.
So it's funny that you mentioned the Beatles earlier because when I was listening to All Here Now, I was definitely getting some Beatles vibes. I was getting a little bit of the Pixies. Tell
Mm.
me a little bit about that song and recording it.
That's like the first serious song that I ever made, and I probably wrote it when I was like 17 or 18, and it's just about not knowing what to write a song about, and I held on to it for a long time, and this guy Mike, Mike, the sound guy at Zen West, he has a studio.
Yes.
Yeah, Hypernova. He posted something and he said that I just got this 8-track recorder and I want to use it. I'll let anybody record on it. So I messaged him instantly. I was like, dude, I have this song. I've had it for years. I think it'd be fucking perfect. Let's do it. And went up there, got, once again, a lot of cool people to work on it with me. And it turned out awesome. It was such a fun project. And Mike still has that 8-track player if you ever want to try it, Will. It's fucking awesome, dude.
That sounds interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always up for trying new weird things. So.
Hmm.
All right. And so I guess the latest release you have is your song Breathe,
Yeah.
which kind of gave me post grunge vibes, but it also kind of reminded me of another local band. Are you familiar with Fatally Yours?
Yeah, I am.
I,
Like,
I
but recently, like I just recently listened to them. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they were around maybe like 8 or 9 years ago, like
Hmm.
pre-COVID, and it to me it felt like it could have been a song they written. It just had that vibe, but
Yeah.
good energy. And then you got another singer on that song. You want to talk about making that song a little bit?
Yeah, sure, dude. That was a concept that I had for, I don't know, like a year. And I had kind of like floated it between bands and drummers trying to figure out how I wanted to flesh it out, but I really couldn't figure it out. And then I booked a session with Toby and I was like, look, I got this concept and I have it like pretty much finished. I know I want it to be a conversation between a man and a woman. And I have the whole thing written. I just don't know, like drum wise, what I want to do, and I don't really know bass wise either. So we went up there. We had never jammed it together. Like we really did,
Yeah.
right? I don't think we
I
did.
think we messed around with it the night before. That's
Yeah,
right.
maybe
Yeah.
if that. And we went up there, met with the session drummer Brandon, who also plays lead guitar in Night Hums. They're an awesome band, by the way.
Yes, I've seen
Uh,
Night Hums. I actually played with them. They were like I hadn't heard of them before, but they blew me away.
Yeah, unreal, right? And
Yeah,
their lead guitar player, Brandon, he also just plays drums like a monster. So whatever.
nice.
I mean, what can he not do? So we go up there. He's never played it with me, and we probably ran like 4 takes, and that was the recording you heard. So I
Nice.
mean, that's just when you work with really, really good, talented people. That's what you get, and that's like the funnest part of the shit for me, man, is doing stuff like that. You know?
That's awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you've got a nice little catalog of different stuff out, and I'm sure you've got more stuff coming in the pipeline. What are you working on now? What's on the what's in
Well,
the
that's
schedule?
a great question because we just kind of teased today on No Promises band page that we went up and recorded a song with Toby not too long ago, and it's called Visions. We've played it at a couple shows now since No Promises has returned, and it's releasing March 7th at our headlining show at Angels Rock Bar. So we kind of
Nice.
planned it out to work out that way. So that's more of like a post grunge. We call it grunge punk, is what No Promises is becoming. We're kind of trying to define our own genre.
That's awesome.
It's coming out March 7th. You should definitely check that out. And actually, after this, I'll send you the WAV file so you can just check it out and listen to it if you want.
Yeah, if you want, I usually try to put a song at the end of the podcast for like the audio version. So if you want, I could feature that song. And
Yeah, sure, man. Sure.
this will probably come out closer like to mid-March. So if
That's
that times
perfect.
out
Yeah.
better, yeah.
Well, then there you go. When it comes out, then it'll be on. Perfect.
Cool. So yeah, man. So when you guys were doing the cover band project, because I played in a cover band for a few years called
Yeah.
Phantasm, and we were doing a lot of like pop, kind of like pop top 40 type songs. You guys were doing kind of a little bit of heavier stuff. How'd you guys like kind of dabbling in that?
So that was all of our like collectively favorite music, except for maybe yours.
Well, no, I mean, it was still something like was a foundation on what I played. I mean, I feel like everybody in that band was really into like, late 90s, early 2000s grunge and
Yeah.
all rock stuff like that. I feel like it just kind of works. And then we had the old songs, like what was that, Tush and Summertime Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem with the cover band, and you're probably gonna say this too, and you'll probably say it too.
Yeah.
It takes the fun out of music for me. It becomes such a like monotonous chore to learn this like laundry list of covers. Like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna learn 12 covers tonight. Whoopee, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just took the fun out of it for me.
It can be fun, but you got to do it right. And you got to like mix around the covers that you do.
I guess it just kind of felt like homework.
My old band Pineapple was pretty fun most of the time.
Yeah.
But we played a lot of different shit. So
Yeah, there's definitely a trick to it of keeping it fun. I mean, you've got to have the right group of people that make it fun.
Right.
And I know that learning.
That's the most important part is the right group of people. That's for sure.
But yeah, like I had a whole thing for memorizing lyrics and all that, and that was definitely a lot of work to do that because a lot of people. That's one of the things people would say all the time is how do you know all these words? But,
Yeah, right. The secret is I didn't.
Yeah,
That's why I
right.
stopped doing it.
But yeah, the other thing too is if you want to play. I've heard horror stories about like cover bands that, all right, we wrote an original song and then they play an original show. People come out to see them play and they're like, we don't like this at all.
Right.
They just want to hear you do, My Own Worst Enemy again.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Which I always say, if I could go another day, if I could go no more days of my life playing that song, I would. But it's like a cheat code. If you just want to get the crowd going, you play that song
Yep.
and everyone goes nuts.
Yep.
You could literally do the
Silverset
most.
played that for sure.
I've played. That is one cover that I play in every band.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's the ultimate cheat code. Everybody knows it.
But
Yeah, I've played that song too many times in my life. Too many times.
cool. All right, so cool. We got plenty of music out there for people to check out. So one of the things I like to do to kind of wrap up the podcast is I have like some just fun little questions that I like to throw out just to kind of add some spice to it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So first one, and then you guys can both go. What's your favorite drink? Any drink?
I already thought of what yours would be. Come on, say it.
Mine's Fireball.
Okay.
Yours is
What?
I don't know, anything.
Anything.
Yeah, have you seen that meme that's like it's like these two girls and the one's like, "Hey, this tastes like Fireball," and then the other girl's like, "Us non-alcoholics call that cinnamon."
Yeah.
All right, what's an album you can listen to on repeat?
Under the Cork Tree by Fall Out Boy. It's the best album ever written. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't think that, you haven't listened to it. It's unbelievable.
Making the stand.
You were quick on the draw with that.
Yes, because I've been waiting so long for somebody to ask me that question in particular. I was ready. Go ahead. Try to top that.
I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna top it. I just don't know. That's something I'd have to think about. But I feel like What's that one Rush album? I forget which one it is. Whichever Rush album has Natural Science on it. I forget the name of the album.
But it's got to be an album, like he said, that you can listen front
yeah,
to back.
yeah, no, absolutely. It's yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
I
necessarily have to
forget
be
the
your
name of the
favorite
album.
album, but just yeah. Because I hate when people ask me that. What's your favorite song? What's your favorite? It's like that changes all the time, but
I
usually I can.
cannot I can't do favorite song like just like you said. I mean that just depends on what I'm listening to. But favorite album,
Yeah, it's Permanent Waves by Rush. That was the one. I feel
Okay.
like I can definitely listen to that album front and back. All the songs in that album are killer.
All right, here's a fun one. All right. Name something everybody looks stupid doing.
Huh. Everybody looks stupid playing instruments. I feel like we all
on
kind of
stage you do. Yeah, you
on
always
stage,
look.
you always just look goofy, dude. And
Don't
everybody's
you
got a different type of goofy face, but you always look goofy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
don't you hate
Drummers
when
always look like they're trying to solve like calculus or something. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen like the one where it's like Sylvester Stallone making a face, and it's like anytime a guitar player is soloing or something. But
That's how it
but
is.
yeah, the other thing too is like anytime a family member is like, I took some pictures of you, and then they send them to you, and it's always just like you're in the like making the worst face or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's just that always happens. Cool. All right, coffee or tea?
Coffee, for sure.
Coffee, I
Coffee's
guess.
best.
I don't like them. I don't like either really, but coffee smells better.
How do you take it?
If I was gonna take it, it would be black.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. My coffee looks like dang near milk. Bougie coffee. Yeah, a little bit of bougie coffee. Yeah, my coffee's definitely tan.
Damn.
All right. All right, last one. If you could live one day as a historical figure, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
All
And
time?
assume this could be like a president, it could be a musician, really anybody.
Okay. Wow, what a question. And you have to do the thing where I have to answer pretty quick because I can't just sit here for 50 seconds and
Yeah,
contemplate
trying
because
to
that'll
think,
ruin the
trying to
podcast.
figure it
So
No, you're good. I
because
mean, like,
yeah, but now I have to, Will, because I've already said it, and I'm gonna rush this answer and I'm gonna regret it, and I'm gonna text you later and be like, I want to change my mind. um, Christ, answer.
What
I think,
historical figure, but it
Yeah.
can be like any
I,
musician or whatever. I think I'd want to live a day as Neil Peart, just because that would be insane. I always wanted to see Rush play live, but to get to play as him with Rush would be nuts.
No, see, I'm not even thinking music.
Yeah,
yeah.
if we're thinking historical, I mean,
I
that
mean,
opens the door to a million different things.
it would be cool to kind of like go back to Egypt or something, but then you
Yeah,
might be like, man, like I miss sinks, like, anything like that, like
yeah,
just
man.
random.
Dude, I bet you this. I bet being Genghis Khan would be kind of dope. I mean, they did a lot of messed up stuff, but just to be Genghis Khan for like a day, probably nuts. I mean, that was like one of the biggest empires the world's ever seen. That's probably a pretty cool one.
This is the worst question you could ever ask me, Will. I
Well,
am so
these
upset right now.
these are just fun, and like I said, I think
Who's
we
it
still
fun
got.
for? Just kidding.
It's fun for
Us,
me.
'cause we get to watch you do this.
I think that I would want to be like a president, but not one in particular. Just I would want to see what it's like day to day to like see what they have to do responsibility wise. I imagine it is so intense that it would make my day to day thing that I bitch about like very minute. So I think
That's
I'd
what
want to
I
be a
always
president.
say.
I could see you being Ronald Reagan, like
I
as
would definitely.
president, going back and being Reagan or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that would definitely be interesting to just kind of know what a day is like from that. Like, do they are they just having lunch and then someone hands them a phone and they're like, the
Oh,
world's on fire, and you're
Make
just
a
yeah,
like, oh,
business decision
gotta
now.
go to
yeah.
war with this country.
Right. Yeah, I
But
can't imagine.
but yeah, man, this is all just in good fun, just to see what kind of just to see how you do under pressure.
For sure. Yeah.
But cool, man. So you got tell me again when the album release or the single release show kind of is for No
Yeah,
Promises.
we got a couple shows coming up. If you're saying this is going to be out by March 15th, I can say all of them. So, you will have missed the Auto Bar. That's February 11th. That's Tuesday. March 7th, we're doing the release for Visions at Angels Rock Bar, and we're playing Maryland Day.
Okay.
Are you playing Maryland Day this year?
No, I'm not.
I got you. And then we are on the Never Early Fest. If you've seen the announcements for that, it seems like it's like the replacement for Frozen Harbor Fest.
Yeah, I played Frozen Harbor a few times. It's definitely what it feels like.
And that's May 31st.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw today. They just announced that Sponge is playing.
Hell yeah, they did. Isn't that awesome? And you
I
know who
know, I'm
else is
pretty
playing?
pumped.
Lit. So My Own
Oh,
Worst Enemy is going to be played all
oh
damn
my
day,
God, yeah.
Will.
Yeah, so I will be playing Never Early. I
Oh,
think I
hell
think
yeah,
they've got me
dude.
on that, so that should be a lot of fun.
That's awesome, dude. Well, then I'll see you there.
Hell yeah. Cool. Thank you for doing this, guys, and um, look forward to seeing you guys play soon.
Yeah, dude, absolute pleasure. We got to jam again sometime at some show, whether we hook that up with Brian or whoever. And don't be a stranger, dude. This was awesome. Thank you
Yeah,
for this
it's
opportunity.
fun time, man.
Thank you guys for doing this. You guys have a good day.
Hey, man, you too. Take it easy.
All right, I'll see you guys. Check out the links in the description to hear all of Nick and Dan's music projects, and check out the new singles coming out from No Promises.